I've got kind of an ivy garden card for you today. I think this is really lovely, and we've done it with some of the pixie powders. I'll show you what we'll be using. Our sentiment comes from the Delightful Sentiment set. It's a clear stamp set from Creative Expressions. Here is the star of the show. It's our background ivy garden. And this has got some fun elements to it, I'll explain. And we have cut out our sentiment with the smaller die here in the double-stitched Octagon. And I've created a frame for the card using the double pierced squares. Okay. So I'm going to start out with the background. Now, I've actually already done a layer of the pixie powder, but I kind of wanted to show you how you can build up the pixies. I've shown them so many times on videos because I really enjoy using them. But I still get people saying they're too afraid to try them. And I just want to point out that they're just so easy to use. So what I've done is I've gone in with Golden Mint, Emerald Green, and the last one here is Pale Olive, all sort of shades of green in one way or another. And I'm just going to kind of mix them. So I've got one layer down. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a bit more. Here's the Emerald Green. Just tap it. Never squeeze these. You just want to spread a bit of the powder around. Here's the Golden Mint. There we go. And this one's got a real, it's a green still, but it's got a very yellow chartreusey look to it. And the Pale Olive. So we'll have a bit of different colors, different shades of greens going here. So I put the first layer on, spritz them, and let them dry. So this is effectively the second layer. So I've just put a little tape on the edges here and a spritz gun, or water spritzer. There we go. So add in a bit more, and we can even go back through, add some more of the darker color just to really fill in some of these shades. And let's put, we've got quite a bit of the Golden Mint on there. I'll put a little bit more of the Pale Olive in here. So you can see how we can just build up these colors. The other thing I want to point out, and this is kind of a good example, is these colors have little teeny bits of other colors to them. So we've got a little bit of the red coming through in this too, which is kind of nice. It gives you a bit of a different look to it. There we go. So now I've got a deep, really nice deep green shade. I could let that dry. I could throw on another coat if I wanted, if you don't want any of the white background to show. Totally your call, but you can build it up is the point of showing it this way. So I'm going to set this aside. I've got one I've done that's already dry. And this is just a leftover piece from the one that I made the original card with. But I wanted to show you a couple of things about this die set. So first off, there's an outer piece. Now this will cut 4 corners for you, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and put this one into place first. And I recommend doing it this way and cutting it in pieces only because there's a lot going on with this die. And I just find it's easier than putting it all through the machine in one go. So, and if you notice, I've tipped it a little bit so you don't hit that hard straight edge all at once. Go through, back out. Now we'll be using the aperture to this, but this will give you 4 really pretty little corners out of this if you want to use them for another project. Take off my tape, and I'm just going to take that piece off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to center my middle piece in the middle here so I know exactly where it's going to sit. Just try and get it as straight as possible. I'm going to tape that into place, and then we'll take this off. And that will allow the rollers on the die cutting machine to really get in there and cut all the detail, because that center die has got a lot of detail in it. And I've got a little bit here. There we go. Pulling. There we go. Okay, pop that away. So now, take out these corners. And there's a lot of little swirly bits to these guys. But you can see I've got a really pretty aperture from that. Pop this one in. it a quick cut. And there we go. Let's see if we can tool some of those out. There's a lot of bits to this one. Take that away. But if you cut it this way, you get something that's so much easier to cut rather than trying to put the entire die through in one go. There we go. Try and figure out which one's the fall away bits here. There we start to push all these through. I've got one I've done earlier so you can see, but that'll give you your background base piece, okay? So I will move to the one I've cut earlier, and I'll set these aside. We can use them for a later project. So now I've just backed that with some white card to show through all the little bits there. And I went ahead and cut the outer die again in white, and it's got some beautiful debossed lines on the corners. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paper piece those back in, and even though it's white on white there, you get the detail from these, so it looks really, really pretty. So I'm going to use a little bit of spray glue on these. And let me just tell you what, let's just put them in as we spray them. That might be the easiest way to go. And just sort of, there we go, this direction. Pop that back into place. Feed it back in. You'll have a little bit of movement with these because they are quite fine. There we go. And that one goes there. Okay. And just sort of wiggle them back and make sure they're nice and popped into place. This one will go into here. And make sure it's nice and secure. And my last little guy over here. And it's a small detail, but the debossed center veins on the ivy really add a lovely little accent to this when they're into place. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to bring in the frame I've created. Now this is what I call a multi-layer frame using a couple of the different dies in the double pierced squares. So I've got it raised up and I've added a bit of mounting foam on the back. I love the way frames look on cards. I just think they finish them off so nicely. And we're just going to center that right over the top. There we go. That looks pretty good. I'm going to bring in my backing piece. And because I've got that beautiful pop of color from the pixie powders, I've just decided to go with the white on white. And I'll give you a quick measurement on this when I get it put together. Right in the middle of that. And the frame size on this is 6 1/8 square, and then the outer finish piece on it is 7 1/2 square. Yes, okay. And to finish this off, I've just stamped my Your Special to Me sentiment in a black Archival ink and cut it out with the center, actually the next one up from the center in the double-stitched octagons. So you've got a really pretty shape going on there that works really beautifully with the circular shape too. There you go. So nice, so easy, and just a lovely card that you could send to just about anybody.